Welcome back to another vlog. This is 7 Deadly Sins, Season 1, Episode 7, I think. The title had touching in it, I think. Like a touching memory, a touching story, something like that. And this is a commissioned vlog for Benny Blue. Thanks for backing, Benny. I enjoyed this one. It opened with gross Meliodas being gross, but he mostly wasn't in it, which always makes for a good episode. The main focus of this episode was Ban and his memories of a presumably non-human woman named Elaine, who appeared as a child. I'm guessing she was some kind of elf or forest spirit or something like that. With whom he's heavily implied to have had a romantic relationship, which is a little... anime does that a lot. It will do stuff that is like pedophilia, but in this deniable way that really doesn't work as a denial at all, but it still gives them an excuse. So they'll do things like have a character who has the body of an adult woman, but the mind of a child. Or they'll do someone who has the body of a child, but the mind of an adult woman. And they'll say, oh, well, you know, that makes it okay then. Either the excuse is, well, they have an adult body, so the audience members that this is appealing to aren't really pedophiles because they're attracted to the adult body. But no, the child behavior is there. And or they'll say, oh, well, the audience members aren't really pedophiles because that's not really a child, it just looks like one. It's just, you know, a short woman with very small breasts. Which, I mean, short adult women with very small breasts exist, and that, you know, liking them is not the same as pedophilia. The problem is that the way the character is presented is always that kind of, if not straight up that, then at least it's like, oh, this is a non-threatening woman. Either physically unimposing, childlike, or mentally unable to protect herself. Either way, it's gross when anime does this. I've always found it gross because it presents someone who is in some respect childlike as a sexual object. And again, that's like in real life it's a slightly different story in the sense of like some people are just built that way. But when the interest is because they have the body of a child, when it's happening often enough that this is clearly a fetish that's being catered to, that's when it gets iffy. That aside, there's some really good stuff here, linking in with like Arthurian legend and Celtic myth, which is a nice place for this to go. Elaine is a character from the Morte d'Arthur. She is this fairly minor character. She's a woman who falls in love with Lancelot and he's not interested, so she kills herself. Or, no, I'm sorry, dies of heartbreak. She doesn't actually commit suicide, she's just so sad that she wastes away and dies. I'm guessing something happened with Elaine sort of like that. I'm guessing that Ban didn't kill her directly, the way King claims, but that in some sense her feelings for him, because that's obviously where they were going in the flashback scenes, her feelings for him killed her. And he clearly carries around a lot of guilt for that. King clearly carries around a lot of anger for that. And the other members of the group don't know about it, which is interesting. I think this is the first case we've had where a member of the Seven Deadly Sins has, like, backstory elements that aren't known to the others, that aren't shared with the others. So that's interesting. Also interesting is that this presumably happened before they became the Seven Deadly Sins. Before they became a team. But King didn't find out about it till after? I don't know. The kind of important thing is that it's a thing that happened that's driving them, and it's the memories of Elaine that unlock their ability to go into the necropolis, where Elaine appears to be waiting for them, so obviously stuff's going to get revealed to the rest of the party. We're probably going to find out the real story next episode. The most interesting part to me was where and how Ban and Elaine met, because it's the Fountain of Youth, which it's been at least implied has some connection to whatever it is that happened to the Seven Deadly Sins that made them both not age, and stuff like Ban's ability to heal, and their loss of memory possibly. But Ban was seeking it alone, and he climbs what is very clearly like the World Tree. Like, it's this lush forest, and in the heart of this is this one massive tree that's bigger than all the others. That's a very potent, very ancient symbol. The Axis Mundi, the heart of the world. This is, it's Yggdrasil, the tree that connects the heavens and the earth and all the different planes of existence. It's the tree of life from the Bible and from alchemy. It's the mana tree from the Secret of Mana games. I mean, it shows up all over the place. This symbol of an incredibly tall tree that is in some sense the font of life or existence, or that sustains the world. And at the top of it, he finds the Fountain of Youth. And the Fountain of Youth is depicted interestingly because it's the overflow from this cup. And if he drinks it all, he'll become immortal, but at the price of sacrificing the forest, which is why he chooses not to do it. And Elaine is touched by that, and that's where the relationship starts getting better. But what's interesting is that, the cup and Elaine together, like this, that's Arthurian stuff, that's the Holy Grail. Which drinking from it is supposed to make you immortal. So connecting it to the Fountain of Youth makes sense. Now the Grail is a Christian symbol. It shares an origin with stuff like the Seven Deadly Sins. But it actually is pre-Christian. It's the cup, the tarot soup cups, this idea of a magical cup or goblet or grail or cauldron, a container of liquid that has powers of life. The cauldron of, I think Bel was his name? No, that's not right. Balor. No. That was the guy with the eye. Maybe he was the guy with the cauldron. One of the ancient Irish deities had a magical cauldron that could bring people back from the dead. That kind of thing. And that again is connected to Ban being apparently undead. So definitely a lot of stuff going on with all of that. That symbol, a lot of symbols of life concentrated there. But, Elaine is linked to that symbol of life and she's dead. So that's kind of this sense of the world, that's shown up a few times in the story, that the world has gone wrong, the way things are is not the way they should be. The powerful are exploiting the powerless. the great criminals or the heroes. Things are topsy-turvy. Life is death. And that's where, you know, they need to come in, presumably, and set things right. There's that whole thing with the meteors crossing each other. That's another, like, lots of these, like, ominous portents when you think about it. I really wonder if that forest and that tree are still alive, or if whatever caused Elaine to die killed them as well. Other than that, this episode introduced King, who is an interesting character. I liked the flying fat man with a soft heart. The extremely angry child version of him is but we'll see what they do with him. And yeah. I'm not sure what else. Oh, King has a crush on Diane. Okay. Like, so suck it up and either say something or give it up. I have very little patience for these kinds of, oh, I can't say anything, I must suffer in silence kinds of bullshit. Either make your move or don't. You know? That's all there is to it. But yeah. This is actually a pretty good one. I'm actually looking forward to the next one, which is not normally the case with Seven Deadly Sins. It's, you know, something I don't mind watching overall, but it's not something I'm excited about generally. But yeah, no, this was okay. This was a pretty okay episode, and I'm interested to see what they do with the next one. The Necropolis has a cool design of, like, all these crystals and stuff. It reminds me a little of what Fibrazo does near the end of Slayer's Next. All the dead people he has stored under the city in crystal. It reminds me a little of that. And reminding me of Slayer's Next is never a bad thing. It's one of my favorites. So yeah. That's about it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Patreon for early access to vlogs, gaming videos, essays, and more. And I will see you all next time. Bye!